$1 million used to be the gold standard for a comfortable retirement. But as we stand here in the year 2026, that number feels more like a survival baseline than a luxury. Recent data from the Federal Reserve reveals a sobering reality that only about 2.6% of households actually have $1 million or more in their retirement accounts. If you are looking at your savings and feeling a sense of quiet desperation, you are not alone. Most people are chasing a ghost, a financial target that keeps moving because they have been taught the wrong rules about how money actually works. Today, we are going to look at 12 psychological principles that will change the way you see your wealth, specifically designed for those of us who have already spent decades in the workforce. These insights are not about getting rich quick. They are about building a level of peace and security that no market crash can take away from you. Let us begin with a realization that might take a weight off your shoulders. Lesson number 1 is that nobody is crazy when it comes to their financial decisions. Your financial worldview was shaped by the specific economic environment you grew up in. If you began your career during a period of high inflation or lived through a major market collapse, your brain is hardwired to prioritize safety over growth. When you see someone making a choice that looks irrational to you, they are simply responding to their own personal history with money. Think about the person who keeps all their money in a basic savings account, earning almost zero interest, while inflation eats their purchasing power. From the outside, it looks like a terrible mistake. But if that person watched their parents lose everything in a stock market crash, their behavior is a logical survival mechanism. Stop judging your past mistakes, and instead look at them as logical responses to the world you experienced at that time. Forgiving yourself for not being a perfect investor is the first step toward making better choices today. This brings us to lesson number 2, which is the concept of enough. The hardest financial skill is getting the goalposts to stop moving. For many people in their 50s and 60s, the hunger for more can become a dangerous trap that risks the very security they have worked so hard to build. We live in a culture that celebrates constant growth and endless accumulation. But in retirement, the game changes from offense to defense. If you have enough money to cover your needs, your health, and your peace of mind, why risk what you have for something you do not truly need? The hedonic treadmill tells us that the bigger house or the newer car will bring happiness. But neuroscience shows us that the thrill fades within months. The most successful retirees are not the ones with the largest bank accounts, but the ones who have defined exactly what a good life looks like for them and stop chasing someone else's version of success. Lesson number 3 is a reminder that compounding does not require you to be a genius. It simply requires patience. Even if you feel like you started too late, the math of the market is still on your side as we move through 2026. A simple investment in a broad market index fund can double every 7 to 10 years on average based on historical data. If you have $500,000 today, that money could grow to $1 million in just 1 decade without you adding a single extra cent. The power of wealth is not in the initial contribution, but in the discipline to leave it alone and let time do the heavy lifting. Most people interrupt the compounding process because they get bored or scared. But the real winners are those who can sit on their hands and do nothing. Lesson number 4 is about planning for your plans to fail. The most important part of any financial plan is having a plan for when the plan does not go according to the script. In the world of 2026, we know that surprises are the only constant. Whether it is an unexpected medical bill or a sudden shift in the economy. This is why having a boring pile of liquid cash is the most brilliant thing you can do for your peace of mind. An emergency fund does not earn much interest, but it acts as a barrier between your long-term investments and your daily survival. It prevents you from having to sell your stocks at a loss when the market is down just because you need to fix a leaking roof or pay for a surgery. The people who build lasting wealth are the ones who prepare for the worst-case scenario while hoping for the best. This leads us to lesson number 5, which is that true financial genius often looks incredibly boring from the outside. The media loves to celebrate the bold risk takers and the people who bet everything on a single cryptocurrency or a hot tech stock. But if you look at the data, the millionaires next door are usually engineers, accountants, and teachers who did the average thing for a very long time. They did not find a secret shortcut. They simply chose to be slightly more disciplined than the average person for a few decades. They ignored the noise of the headlines. They kept their expenses low. And they stayed consistent even when it was not exciting. Wealth is built in the quiet moments of making small, smart choices every single day. Lesson number 6 is perhaps the most important for those approaching retirement, and that is the idea that the ultimate form of wealth is freedom. Money is a tool that gives you the ability to control your time and your choices. If you have a high income but no autonomy over your schedule, you are not truly wealthy. You are just a high-paid worker. True wealth is the ability to wake up and decide exactly how you want to spend your Tuesday afternoon without asking for permission. For many people, downsizing their lifestyle or moving to a more affordable area to gain more freedom is the best trade they will ever make. Being able to say no to projects or people that drain your energy is a luxury that no luxury car can ever provide. Lesson number 7 might sting a little, but it is a necessary truth. Nobody cares about your material possessions as much as you do. When you see someone driving a brand new luxury vehicle, you do not think that person is cool. You think the car is cool, and you imagine yourself in the driver's seat. We often spend money on things we do not need to impress people we do not even like, while the people we are trying to impress are only thinking about themselves. Real wealth is the money you do not spend, the assets that stay hidden in your accounts and provide you with security instead of status. A paid-off mortgage provides more happiness than a fancy logo on a piece of clothing ever will. Lesson number 8 explains why your savings rate is far more important than your income level. Consider the math of a teacher making $50,000 who saves 20% versus a lawyer making $300,000 who saves nothing. The teacher will end up more secure and more wealthy because they have mastered the art of living below their means. You have more control over your expenses than you do over market returns or your employer's decisions in this volatile year of 2026. Every dollar you save is a dollar that can work for you, while every dollar you spend is gone forever. Savings is the gap between your ego and your income. Lesson number 9 is a classic truth that many people still try to fight every day. Time in the market will always beat trying to time the market. Your brain wants to feel in control, so it tempts you to sell when the news looks scary and buy when everyone else is celebrating. But the data shows that the more you trade, the more you lose to fees, taxes, and bad timing. The most successful investors are often the ones who forgot the passwords to their accounts and let the market do its work for 20 years. Discipline is not about being smart. It is about being able to endure the urge to do something when doing nothing is the better option. Lesson number 10 is about reframing how you see market volatility. The ups and downs of the stock market are not a sign that something is broken. They are the admission price for long-term growth. Think of market drops as a fee you pay for the privilege of compounding your wealth over time, just like you pay a fee for a gym membership or a streaming service. If you can endure the uncertainty without panicking, you earn the right to the rewards that the market offers. The price of a successful Hootri is the willingness to accept a few sleepless nights when the red numbers appear on the screen. Lesson number 11 is that your financial situation is completely unique to you. There is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all financial plan, especially for those of us who have lived through 60 years of life. The advice that works for a 30-year-old in a high-growth career could be disastrous for someone who needs to protect their capital for the next 30 years. Your health, your family goals, and your personal risk tolerance are more important than any generic rule of thumb. Trust your own instincts and build a plan that allows you to sleep peacefully at night, regardless of what the experts are saying on television. Finally, lesson number 12 is that simple investing almost always beats a complicated strategy. The financial industry is designed to make you believe that wealth building is complex, so that they can justify their high fees and commissions. But low-cost index funds, combined with decades of patience, are still the most effective tools for the average person to achieve financial independence. You do not need a sophisticated algorithm or a high-speed trading platform. You need a simple plan and the courage to stick to it when things get difficult. Complexity is often a mask for uncertainty, while simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. As we wrap up these 12 lessons, I want you to take a deep breath and look at how far you have come. You have worked hard for decades, and you deserve the peace of mind that comes with financial clarity. The noise of the world and the headlines about the economy in 2026 can be overwhelming and frightening. But your path to a peaceful retirement is paved with these psychological shifts, not with a magic stock pick or a lottery win. Take a look at your assets today and focus on the ones that are liquid and truly accessible when you need them. Consider where you might be chasing status or approval instead of long-term security. And most importantly, remember that you still have time to make meaningful changes to your trajectory. Wealth building is a game of behavior more than it is a game of math. If you found these insights helpful, consider sharing them with a friend who might be struggling with the same anxieties about the future. We are all in this journey together, trying to find our way to a future that feels safe, stable, and meaningful.